G'day, I'm Dr. Friday, and this is the Dr. Friday Show. And of course, you guys all know the big dog of finance, Hercules. This show is all about taxes and entrepreneurship, and of course, money. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is entrepreneurship, because the one thing that keeps the heartbeat of America going is small businesses. The one thing that produces jobs in America is small businesses. And what we want to make sure is that you're taking full opportunity of starting a business and understanding how the tax laws and how money works in small business. That's what this show is all about. I want to help you start your business right and also learn how to avoid some of those loopholes. We're going to hear from Steve Jobs, and he's going to give you some advice on how he became a success, as well as how we're going to actually make some caramel apples to show you how you can actually be different but still have the basic same ingredients. That's what this is all about. So let's get to the show. G'day, I'm Dr. Friday, and tax class is in session. That's right, tax class is in session. So today we're going to talk about some of the things you need to know about how to put more money in your pocket. But more importantly, when you're starting a business, when do you actually have to worry about even paying taxes? Believe it or not, that's one of the main questions that's asked when we come into play. And you know, people think, oh, the first time I have to pay taxes is when I make money, right? That would be logical, but not in Tennessee. When you make money isn't always when you pay taxes. We have what's called franchise excise tax. You don't pay just on profits. You also pay on rent, tangible property. So when it comes down to the bottom line, you pay $100 no matter what. It's that simple. So when paying taxes, it's not always about how much money you're making in profit. Now, if you're talking federal taxes, the first time you're going to pay taxes is when you make a profit. But sometimes when we're doing business, we're not always in business. Sure, it's great to make money, but sometimes the way you track your losses, big dog, you have to figure out how to make them work for you. You want to make sure when you're dealing with taxation that you're not only dealing with the money issues, but also how you're going to do something and when you're going to do it. So that way you know how to take care of business. So one of the things we want to talk about first is determining income and managing your profit. Because sometimes what you might want to do is figure out how you're going to basically make money, but then should I take the profit in 2012, for example, or should I somehow defer it into 13? Right now, a lot of our advice, we have a plan A and a plan B, determining how you're going to actually figure out how you're going to do your taxes. Because plan A might be defer income, right? Plan B might be defer expenses. You never know what's going to be the best way to do it. You have to have it depending on, especially in tax years like this, when we don't know what the tax code's going to be from 12 to 13. You have to maximize your taxes, and the only way to do that is to plan how to maximize your taxes. Next thing you want to make sure that you're taking full advantage of is the type of entity. So many people are talked into, aren't they? How many people come in the office and they're talked into doing LLCs or sub-S corporations or C corporations, and really the best thing that could be is a sole proprietorship. Maybe one of the things you have to figure out is what is best for you. And that's because someone always says, be this or be that. Realize when you start a separate entity, A, you're taking on additional costs. So if you're a small business and you really don't have the cash flow, maybe it's better to protect yourself with insurance than it is with an entity. Second, so many people do entities and they don't do them right. Let's just be honest about it. When you're doing an entity, one of the things you want to make sure that you're doing is, if you're a corporation, that you're holding the shareholders, that you're maintaining the charters. Same thing with LLCs. And a single member LLC, remember, that falls right onto your personal tax return. So it's like a Schedule C, right? It's a matter of making sure that your tax information is perfect. If you don't do these things right, let's say you're running a corporation and you don't treat yourself as payroll. Do you realize the IRS is basically going to turn around and say you might not be legal, therefore disallowing a lot of other expenses? If they start auditing that, what else are they going to find that you didn't treat properly? You want to make sure you get the right entity that's going to be perfect for you. You want to make sure that you're able to handle the way these tax entities work for you. Because if you don't, what are you going to have next? You're going to have a situation where, let's be honest, you're going to be disallowed, and then you're going to have a whole big tax problem that you didn't even count on. And what's that going to be? That's going to take money out of your pocket and put it into the Internal Revenue Service. So you got to make sure when you're dealing with the government that you are documenting everything perfectly. Because really, when it comes to taxes, what is the number one thing I'm always telling you? Documentation. That's right, documentation. If you can track it and you can expense it and you have the right documentation, you're not worried about the big audit because you've got the right documentation. As a small business owner, we're looked at 10 times more than an individual with a W-2. So you have to make sure that you are documenting all of your tax deductions properly, that you're keeping track of them, that you're scanning them right into your computer, and that when you're putting that information onto your tax return, that you're tracking that information directly through to your documentation. Because if you're making it up as you go, people, your odds are you're going to end up in trouble, and then you're going to need more than me. You're going to need Big Dog and a lot of more help because you're going to have to figure out how to pay huge tax bills. But remember, as an enrolled agent, that is my job, is to help you deal with the IRS. But when dealing with the IRS, the first thing you have to make sure is that you've got all the right paperwork to make sure you can keep more money in your pocket. Give me a call if you have issues with the IRS.